I'm here with Alex today.
Hi.
Alex.
Hi, Melinda.
Hey, can you tell me why you've shown up here today and why you're at Parliament House and what your voice is representing here?
Hi, thanks for asking that question and interviewing me. I'm here really because I think it matters. I think we have a problem, a real problem. I think we haven't got much time to deal with it. And I'm here for my children and my grandchildren and everybody's children and grandchildren, because they're the ones that are going to have to really, deal with this really major issue. And so I really am very happy to be here and able to protest and be here at Parliament House and part of a greater group to make a bit of a difference to hopefully changing some people's minds that we need to do something, and we need to do something fast, especially some of the recalcitrant minds in Parliament House.
So being an environmentalist in TAFE, what do you think some of the major issues are that we could address to make a difference in the kids' lives in the future?
Some of the major things are real action on climate change. Yeah, so we really need to reduce our emissions in a big way quickly. We need to abide by our commitments to the Paris Agreement and not fudge the figures with the carryover credits of the Kyoto credits. We, as in the Australian government, need to take climate change seriously and put in a plan to take our country into the future, into our new renewable future, and show leadership and be brave and fight the powers that be, instead of be subservient to them. And
where should we be investing our money?
We should be investing our money in renewables. We should be investing our money in environmental groups that are involved in tree planting, sinking carbon. We should really get on board with regenerative agriculture and looking at how we can work this really fragile soil that is under our feet in Australia in a better and more sustainable way.
Exactly, my sentiments as well. And can you see a solution of how we can implement this in people's day-to-day lives, what people can do?
Of course, everything that people do should be related to this issue. Whether it's recycling, whether it's catching public transport instead of driving, whether it's what you eat. Just reducing your footprint as much as possible. Rethink that overseas holiday. Keep living and keep enjoying and keep connecting with life, but just to have those issues as a guide to what you do. But also there's a whole lot of future in a new regenerative economy. And
regenerating what we have.
Regenerating the bush,
making ecosystems.
Supporting ecosystems. But there's whether it's in environmental issues or whether it's in sort of mitigation and adaptation. There's a lot of work that really needs to be done. The impacts are going to be enormous in the next couple of decades. So we really need to, for young people, there are a lot of opportunities to get on board and to make a difference.
So with in 2 points here, do you think the communication between those that are taking care of the bush, say the forestry, the national parks, and the World Heritage, the Crown Lands, and the native titles come together in management to rebuild and those ecosystems?
Yes.
And take care for the future of sustaining a healthy environment so fires don't come through, or they're
absolutely.
managed?
I think everyone that you just mentioned are doing that now, and they really do have a good handle on what's going on. Like the fire managers for climate change that weren't listened to by a prime minister. They called this fire emergency, earlier on last year. They weren't listened to. They know what they're talking about. They need to be listened to. The people that know, the climate scientists, the experts, need to be taken seriously and
come together as a think tank and be heard by each other.
Yeah. I think they do. But I think inherently, all these groups are singing from the same song sheet, and they're all doing their part to for the benefit of the environment. Like these unprecedented bushfires are unprecedented. We've never seen this before, and it's all brought about by a drying, by an unprecedented
water management.
drought. There's water management, but it's all, this is climate change. This is because the bush has been so dry. The fire that we've got in Canberra was started by a defence helicopter incandescent light. Nobody would have even guessed that was possible. So we're in uncharted territory.
We really are, aren't we? And as you're mentioning about the dryness of the bush and coming down to water, the crispness of the water management, do you think that there's priorities of big farms and mining companies over
totally.
the environment and small farms? Of allocation
water in Australia, we are in the driest continent in the world, and we need to really appreciate that and manage our water much better. Whether it's really looking at how much water that large farms like Cubby Station are pulling out of the Murray-Darling system, or whether it's mining companies like Adani that are using
draining our
aquifers, or fracking,
in the Northern Territory.
We've really got to we've really got to look holistically at what's happening in our environment, and as you say, work together to make it sustainable, because at the moment it's not sustainable.
So there's this Don't Frack Our Future, which is luckily I'm from the Northern Rivers in Lismore.
Yep.
So we stopped fracking in our community.
Yeah.
It took the people to come together, vets, doctors, nurses, farmers, environmentalists, coming together as one with one voice.
Yes.
Which fracking affects our air.
Yeah.
In a common thread, and our water, which everybody needs. So we really have to come together, don't we, to stop the fracking in the Northern Territory now?
We do. We need to work as a whole, and today is an indication of that. How we can, in this wonderful democracy, surrounded by lots of police, come together to actually raise our voice as a collective and say, we're not happy with the management of our country.
And so action and voice. There has been a lot of talk about all the coal mines that have just left holes in our landscape.
Yes.
And there's some strong talks and scientists talking about filling those holes up and with water.
Exactly.
Like fill them up, fill those aquifers up, fill it with water, plant the wetlands.
Yep.
So the people that the young people could come together and plant.
That's right.
And do something active. Those wetlands and those forestry people that know how to plant plants very well, instead of chopping them, could actually come and plant in these coal mining areas that have been closed.
And it's the coal miners that should pay for it.
I believe that too, 100%.
They really should.
That's their clean-up duty.
But ironically, a lot of these holes in the ground could be a source of pumped hydro as well.
Oh yes, for renewables.
So this is also a positive way forward. Pumped hydro is stored energy, so this will be one of our major exports. And
Yeah.
as Ross Garnaut mentioned, that we should be doing a lot of work here in Australia, say with aluminium production, instead of selling our bauxite overseas. And we should be using renewable energy here to make aluminium and then sell that overseas. And
Yep.
so you know, there's a lot of
Ways of making renewable energy with water.
And
if we
and-
take care of our water, it can actually give us energy.
Exactly.
Is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And some of these holes in the ground, you know, could be used in that respect. But there's a lot of bush regeneration that really needs to be done. You know, in Australia, there's been too much clearing. We've got salt rising up.
We need our ecosystems.
We need to plant trees. You know, it's the trouble with the bushfires. People get scared of trees, but we actually have to realise that, you know,
we need them to keep the rain, keep the moisture.
The trees are our
to
friends.
stop the dryness.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of organisations. Do you recommend
Absolutely.
people joining in and paying for those trees and helping those that are planting in Australia?
I recommend people link into their local bush care groups or land care groups. You know, all these systems are all already there. Greening Australia. There's local community nurseries, you know, who collect local provenance seed to grow local plants for local areas.
100%.
You know, this is what's really important as well. And there's
In their own backyards and their own farms.
their own backyards, their own farms, in local council and you know, public land areas. Yeah, there's a lot that people can do, and it's a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot of skills.
Alex,
So,
it's been great talking with you today. Thanks for your inspiration and
Pleasure.
showing up today.
pleasure. Thank you very much, Melinda.